Some breaking news regarding the future of WFAN. Obviously, when the decision was made that I was going to be leaving the fan next Friday, that set in line kind of a domino effect of changes here to the lineup moving forward, and knock on wood for everyone involved for a very long time. You know, we went through a long period of time without any change at all to the lineup, and obviously over the last 5 years, 4 more specifically, I guess 5 is right. There's been more changes to the lineup at the end of the 5-year period in fans' history.
We went from
5 years. That's right.
2008 to 2017
with no changes.
You guys, you and Boomer in the morning, me and Joe in middays, Mike in the afternoons, and then between 2018 or 2017,
between me leaving and Mike leaving and Mike coming back and Mike leaving and Mike coming back and me coming back and now me leaving.
Yes,
and some of the midday iterations. Here we are.
I'm hoping you're the sandwich of changes.
Okay.
Because you were the first domino.
I'm the meat.
And hopefully you're the bread.
I'm the bread.
You're the carton bread. There's a lot of sandwich in between.
So here's the new lineup. The new lineup on WFAN will start effectively on July 24th. What are you guys all taking a month off?
You did. Hey, by the way.
What the hell's that?
By the way, Craig.
Yeah.
You damn right.
Is that
I've dealt with enough over the last 5 months. I'm taking a vacation.
All right. So from 5 to 6 in the morning, we have made an executive decision here at the Fan. We will continue on, mostly because they don't get paid for it, to have Al Dukes and Jerry Recco continue to do the warm-up show.
Really?
Which was my idea many, many years ago. And it still pays dividends. It's a great lead-in to our morning show. There are times it is the highest-rated hour on this radio station. So the warm-up show will continue 5 to 6 a.m. with Al and Jerry.
Good for them.
From 6 to 10 in the morning, the show that I also created brought great success to WFAN, now known as Boomer and Geo. That show will also continue.
That's continuing.
Yes.
And they've had a good run because they started in early 2018.
Now I'm going to go a little bit out of order, if I may.
6 years.
With my leaving, they decided Evan could work alone, which he did for Saturdays until he got bougie. But that doesn't make sense in the afternoon drive in New York. So if you guys could bring in the new co-host of the afternoon show, I would very much appreciate it.
Loogie, stop trying to walk in here. You see what he's trying to do?
He is. There's my guy.
Loogie's like, it's me.
So starting July 24th, the new afternoon show will be Evan Roberts and our dear friend Tiki Barber.
The man who made the most athletic catch in softball history.
Well, first and foremost, before the catch, congratulations. I know for a guy who's had great success in everything he's done, most notably on the football field, but then dedicating himself to a media career and specifically on radio.
Yeah.
At a network where it's hard to build an audience, obviously. You and Brandon did a great job for the better part of a decade. Now to have this opportunity, well, I'm sure there are emotions of leaving Brandon that are tough to deal with. Having an opportunity to do afternoons on the Fan, I'm sure for you, is a great moment.
Oh, I remember my early, and I appreciate you, Craig and Evan. I'm looking forward to July 24th. That's the day.
That's what we just found out, by the way. I was like,
July
24th.
Everybody gets a month off.
I think that's CC's softball tournament. I'll be back on the field. I think that's at Yankee Stadium that afternoon. But it's been a long journey, man. For a lot of different reasons. I remember listening to the Fan on my way home, getting pissed off at Mike because he was saying whatever about me during those years. And as I moved into my media career, honestly, radio wasn't on my radar. I was working at the Today Show. I was doing a lot of different things, and but then I got lost for a little bit. A couple of years, I was just kind of in the wind. Tried to make a comeback to the NFL. And that's when Eric Spitz and Mark Chernoff reached out to me about the new national network that they were starting to cover all the affiliates, the owned and operated across the country. And that's when Tiki and Tierney started.
Yep.
And it was it was amazing, right? I refound my voice doing radio, something I didn't think I would do.
How many years did you guys do?
We did 10 years on the national network. Tiki and Tierney's been
I think Brandon was in San Francisco prior to. They brought him back home.
And I was doing nothing.
Right.
I was doing nothing.
You just said something I never knew before, that you contemplated a comeback. And I remember that gym in Jersey you famously, I think he passed away, where you used to work out.
Yeah, with Joe Carini.
Yeah. Was there ever a thought, hey, Mr. Mara, I feel like I got another year in me.
No, they were past me at that point.
What year was that comeback?
This was 2011. So it happened.
So that's being out of football for 5 years.
Yeah, it happened right after. It happened right before the lockout.
Right.
And was that? I just wonder. Was that ego? You think looking back on it?
No. I was really lost, Greg, and I didn't know what I wanted to do with my life. I wasn't working really.
Right. Lost because your identity was I'm a running back.
No. Lost because I went through a terrible divorce.
Right.
I was no longer working at NBC on the Today Show or Football Night in America. I was doing some stuff with Yahoo. My buddy Alan Springer would throw me out. I'd go to Super Bowl games and our Super Bowl weeks, and I was doing little things, but I didn't have a career. Like my career path had just been disrupted, and I went through a depression, to be honest with you. I didn't know what it was, but
right.
Watching.
What were you, like 35 years old?
Watching every episode of Cheers and Dr. Quinn, Medicine Woman. I'm not even joking about this. I've seen every episode of these things.
Dr. Quinn was your go-to?
Yeah, of all
Quinn,
the
Medicine
shows
Woman.
you could be binging.
Dude, it was good.
Cheers, I get. Like, I'm
telling
good
you.
with Cheers.
It was good. And so
Yeah.
I'd wake up, have coffee, start watching TV, stay there all day, and not leave.
Yeah.
And then and so I tried to make a comeback. Started working out with Carini again. I had a business relationship with Steve Ross,
The owner of the Dolphins.
Yep, related companies and affordable housing, and so I had a relationship with him. And so he's like, "All right, come down and work out. We'll see what happens."
Sure.
So I got in great shape over about 5 months. Went down and worked out, and then the lockout happened.
Oh.
And so even if I thought I could have done it. Maybe
Right.
I probably wouldn't have been able to, but I thought I could have done it. It killed everything. But not a month later, Eric Spitz reached out about starting on CBS
Was it an
Sports Network.
easy yes for you because you were looking for something, or did you contemplate?
It was an
I don't know what
opportunity.
radio's all about, doing it 4 hours a day.
It was an opportunity. And I've always been opportunistic. It's why I've done so many things. I joke with Spike all the time. I've done that. Yeah, I've done that.
Right.
Yeah, I've done that. I've done that. I've been on Broadway. I've done commercials. Right. I've done that. It was an easy yes because I needed to find myself.
So I imagine the answer is no now, but when you're going through this kind of depressed period, was there ever a point when you were like, man, I shouldn't have retired? Or did you not go through that?
No, I was ready to. I mean,
You were good with it.
I never look back on my NFL career and say, I should have played 2 more years. I would have
Right.
done X, Y, Z. It wasn't. I didn't know anything other than that.
Right.
If you, let's say there's no lockout and you got a chance and
Yeah.
you're in the league for a year, do you think that changes everything about your career moving forward?
Yeah, I wouldn't be doing this.
That's what I'm thinking.
Absolutely. I would not be doing this. And it's why I look at it as a blessing in disguise. It's like sometimes those paths that you don't take for whatever reason, yours or others, it often is a blessing in disguise.
Sure.
And it led me down a road that I've been blessed to be on. And this goes back to, the original thank you that I was saying. I would never have been able to do national and certainly not local radio if it hadn't been for Brandon Tierney. I knew football
Sure.
well. Now I know soccer well. I couldn't talk baseball, right? Basketball, I watched a little bit. I didn't know it.
Right.
Brandon literally taught me baseball. I didn't
Sure.
play it as a kid. I didn't have a feel for it, right? I didn't know the emotions of the game. I didn't know the highs and the lows. I didn't know the grind. I know what a football grind is. I don't know the grind of 162 games. But slowly but surely over a decade of being partners with BT, I learned to have that conversation.
Yeah.
And so while I feel blessed to be getting this opportunity to come work in the afternoons on WFAN, which obviously is the most important radio station in the country, and it's obviously a very important time slot. It is bittersweet for me.
Sure.
Because Brandon became a brother to me over those years, and I hate that we're not going together, but opportunities present themselves, and they're very rarely perfect. Very rarely perfect. But I also know that you got to be ready for them, and you got to be willing to take them, even if it's painful sometimes. So the most important thing that I can say now, because I'll say a whole lot once I'm doing the afternoons with you, Evan, is I thank you, Brandon. I really do, because my career would not have had any chance of being real if I had been with someone who didn't care to make me better at what I do. right? So that's the most important thing that I can say. Now, with that being said, I mean,
you also have to inherit his Yankee fandom to do afternoons.
No, I mean, I was already kind of a Yankee fan because
do you think Don Mattingly's a Hall of Famer? That's the real question.
I mean, we talked about that today, but it's. It's hard to put into words how meaningful this is and how excited I am, because I would have never thought that I'd be sitting here back when. In 1999, I was doing overnights with Joe Beningo just to do something in the off season. And here I am, 24, 25 years later, getting ready to sit in the afternoon drive slot. It's a big deal. And I know it. And I appreciate and I respect all those that have paved the way for me to be here.
Have you guys discussed the name of the show?
Yeah. Yeah.
Do you mind sharing what it is?
It's going to be Evan and Tiki.
Evan and Tiki. Look at my man.
Evan and Tiki.
You flexed on that, huh?
I didn't flex
Look
anything.
at you.
Honestly, Craig, he didn't care and I didn't care.
He flexed on that.
We're very different than you, Craig.
He didn't care and I didn't care.
For the record, it's in Boomer's contract.
I know.
That when he was Boomer and Carton, it was Boomer and Carton.
He's told me that, yeah.
That is a true story. I don't know if Boomer did it or his agent did it, but obviously when we first started, me coming from New Jersey 101.5, Boomer being Boomer, his agent's like, the name of the show, originally, his agent wanted the show to be known, and this is true, the Boomer Esiason Show. And that got shut down
TV
quick.
show was, right?
It was
have a TV show
Lowering
on
the Boom or something like that.
Yeah, I remember because I did it. I remember sitting over at MSG.
But
and he's doing the show with
what
Boomer
you
Esiason.
leave out, Craig, is that when you came back, you put a little thing in your contract that said, if I'm working with Evan, my name is first.
It just works alphabetically that way. That's all it is.
Sure it does.
I honestly, look, nobody calls him Roberts.
No, they do not. They call me Carton.
Yes.
You're only known as Tiki.
Yeah, you're not Barber. You're just Tiki.
You're Tiki. You're Tiki.
Yeah.
So Evan and Tiki.
So
That's
Evan
what
and
it'll be
Tiki
called.
will start July 24th. Now, there's some other changes that are happening in regards to Tiki coming here that involve Big Mac and Tommy. So while Tiki's sitting here, I guess it's a good time for me to do that. Well, how do I do this? How do I want to do this? I want to think of the best way. Well, let me first. You're
going to find a way to insult them, is what you're thinking about.
I want to do this the most appropriate way.
Go ahead.
So it's going to be Evan and Tiki, July 24th. Is there anything else we need to talk to Tiki about specifically?
Yeah, I got a question.
You guys know my career. You know my life.
No, this is not related to your career. It's a fair question to ask.
Go ahead.
What's your relationship like with Gary Myers? Who talks to Gary Myers?
By the way, you guys know I hated Gary for a long time.
That's what I thought.
For a long time.
That's what I thought.
He had written an article about my retirement and how I was a distraction.
Yeah.
Really?
This is.
Because you talked about him that first night,
I didn't talk
right?
about Jack. John Branch from the New York Times was following me and Ronnie. We were doing a book tour, right? We had children's books.
Sure.
John Branch followed us, and in the course of him following us, he saw all the things that I was doing that had nothing to do with the NFL.
Right.
And after the day, and it was including meeting with some TV exec, and after the day, he's like, I think I got a report that you're retiring. And I said, John, I would rather you not do that.
Right.
But I didn't put any restrictions on this. I would rather you not say that. But you got to do what you got to do. And then about 11, probably a little bit early, about 10 o'clock that night, I get a call from Peter John Baptiste, who was assistant to Pat Hanlon for the New York Giants. And he said, Teak, are you sure you want this to come out like this? Oof. And I said, I don't know what you're talking about. Let me look. And I looked. And it became a big story.
Well, you must have been so pissed.
I mean, not that I knew I was retiring. I didn't want to
But you want to control your own narrative,
Of course.
right?
But here's the truth, okay? So you're on the field. Now you're part of the media.
Hold on. I got to tell you. So in Dallas, we played Dallas. I'll never forget this. And Gary had written this article right before that game. And so after the game, I was seething. I cussed him out for 25 minutes. I'm not kidding.
I bet.
To his credit, he sat there and took it.
Right.
Craig's done that before, too, by the way.
It's happened. I did it the other night, as a matter of fact.
And we didn't talk for years.
Yeah.
In fact, we brought him on, Brandon and I brought him on Tiki and Tierney around the Hall of Fame for, I forget when it was. We were on maybe our fourth or fifth year on the national show. And he didn't say a word. And I started screaming at him again.
Oh, wow. You really hate him.
I just did that.
Later.
I just did that 2 Fridays ago. Curse somebody out.
When their retirement story came out, though, and now you see this from this side, I was doing the overnights at the time. the story. Like for weeks and
But
months.
why? I was still balling. It
Because
didn't matter.
the perception, no, you were, no doubt about that. No one will take that away from you. Because the perception Giant fans had was he's checked out, he's already retired. Now the performance doesn't belie that.
I mean, I rushed for 1,600 yards. I had 2,000 on-purpose yards in that season.
But you see it now.
I rushed for 234 yards in my last game.
But don't you see it now from this side? How little things become the biggest freaking deal on talk radio.
No, but my memory.
Hell, we're getting mad at Josh Donaldson because he's talking about retiring, but Josh Donaldson's not balling.
He didn't have your career.
And so therefore, you could say
so
good riddance. But
your last game as a Giant, you ran for 234 yards.
last regular season game against the then Redskins.
And then you lost in the playoffs.
And then I had a pretty good game, and we lost to the playoff to the Eagles in the playoffs. My first game of my career was against the Eagles right after Princess Diet passed away, incidentally. And then my last game of my career was also against the Eagles in a playoff game where Brian Westbrook just trounced down the field, and they kicked the game-winning field goal.
After the 06
But your last regular season game for over 200 yards, and you're like, I'm done.
Well, you're one of those guys that was able to walk away at the top of their game.
Let me ask you this. Was that whole thing about high and tight, was that overplayed or was that real?
No, it was real.
That was like they were on your
ass. As much as it
about
was
that.
Tom, it was really Gerald Ingram, my running back coach.
He was the guy.
Who's BT's favorite guy because BT brought I forgot what whiskey it was. Gerald was there. He drank like half the bottle. But Gerald preached it, and he retaught me mechanically how to carry the football.
Yeah.
And it changed my career.
Sure.
And it's changed some other people's careers as well because it's what you reference when you talk about ball
It really
protection.
made you fumble less or made it less likely that a defender could hit the ball out?
Well, so, I mean, we're getting deep into football
Yeah,
101,
I
but
just
there's a
wondered
lot
about
there's
that.
a lot of parents who have kids that carry the football. You're told as a kid to carry it like this, right?
Like a loaf of bread.
Just
Kinda.
carry it like this. But the problem is that that's actually exposed. Right, someone can hit it right here,
right?
And if they hit it hard enough and your hand slips, it's exposed underneath,
right?
So it has somewhere to go. But if you carry it high and tight, you keep your elbow, your ball carrying elbow tight to your tight to your side, and the ball across your chest. It's protected. It can't go anywhere, especially if you go into contact. You take your off-ball hand, you cover your on-ball wrist, and you go to ground like this.
That ain't going anywhere.
Most fumbles happen going to the ground. So I'm falling, and I'm like, I need that extra inch. Someone comes and just hits the ball. You can't hold it, right? So you go to ground like this. You go through contact like this. You go to the ground like this. You will never lose the football. And so that little change affected ball security for me, but incidentally, it helped me become faster and quicker because your arm. This is. I mean, it's too much physics, but whatever. Your arm cadence, has to match your leg cadence, right? So when I started carrying the ball tighter, my turnover got faster. All right, so I could cut easier. I was more powerful, and I just turned into an all-pro.
Now, as you embark upon this new chapter of your life and your career, I'm sure you talked it over with your beautiful family.
Yes.
They know that daddy
wife.
ain't going to be around from about noon to 8. Meaning there's going to be a lot of honey-do lists when you get home every night.
My wife, Tracy, is amazing. And
I hadn't seen her in so long until the softball game. It's been a long time,
Tracy, my kids are so busy right now.
Good.
Obviously, I have 2 in college and the twins up in Greenwich. And then me and Tracy have a 9-year-old and a 6-year-old, and they're doing cheer. And one of the beauties of being in the midday slot is that I'd get off of work. I could pick up the kids from school.
Sure.
Take them to cheer down to Kenilworth or, do whatever needed to do.
Right.
Now, it's
Listen,
all
man,
on here.
well, you can take them to school now.
My blessed
Middays.
Tracy. I'm sorry.
Middays for 14 years. It was like I was retired, basically.
Tracy just said, I need a raise.
She did.
No, she's awesome. Your family's beautiful. I hadn't seen Tracy. It's got to be a decade.
Yeah.
Because I had never met your daughter until the softball game, and it goes back a long time.
Did you get hurt from that catch, by the way? That
I
headlong
got hurt
dive?
on the first play of the game.
Running the first, right?
By running to first. I beat out an infield hit. I can't hit a softball out of the infield. Right. So I knew I just had to beat it out, and I did because I hit it to Ryan
You
Leaf.
hit one ball out of the infield. I threw it overhand.
Because you pitched it.
Yeah, I pitched it. It was the one time I did it because I was frustrated, and he singled into right field.
Right. All right. So on that first run, I pulled my quad because I wanted to beat it out.
Right.
And as soon as I went to second, I was like, this is not right. BT drove me in with that RBI single on his first at bat.
And BT made a good scoop at first base on a one hop too. All right, so
and then we went away, and then we destroyed you guys.
You did destroy us in the first game.
Just one game though, because the other two you lost.
we won the 2-inning game
on aggregate. We won.
So again, it's going to be Evan and Tiki. It starts July 24th. Time doesn't change. It's 2 to 6:30. There'll be some changes with the show though. Chris McMonagle will no longer be a part of the afternoon show. We'll get to what's going on with Chris in a moment, but there'll be a third and a new voice here in the afternoon with Tiki and with Evan Roberts. And he's very well dressed today.
Yeah, he was given a test, and he passed the test. I'll tell you that right now.
Yeah.
It's so bad.
Now, get his last name right when you say his name, Craig.
His mom may threaten me.
You're
It's
damn
true.
right.
Sean Morash, who's been with Damon Amendolara on the network where Tiki and Tierney started, is in a suit.
Yeah.
What's up, kid?
Not a great day so far. I've been pranked by Evan and Spike to wear a suit, and Neil Best thinks I'm a board up. So things are going well.
So the reality is that Tommy Lugauer is going to move about 5 feet over to his left. He's going to be the board op and assistant producer, or one of the producers.
No. Hold on a second.
What is it? Yeah. What?
Tommy Lugauer is the executive producer.
All right. Well, they don't
So
tell me
here's the
this.
reality, Sean, and I'm very excited to work with you. I know Tiki is as well. You're a splendid guy. You got a big personality.
Sure.
I think you're going to be a big part of this show. Huge part of this show.
Here comes the butt.
Tommy Lugauer's your boss. Because what we've done...
As long as he gets me the Diet Cokes every day, I'm good.
I'm your boss too, Evan, based on my
we
meetings.
have given Tommy power. We have said Tommy has been slapped down enough over the last 2.5 years, but he's earned his stripes. He knows what he's doing because he's learned at the feet of you, Craig.
Yes.
So Tommy
I've traded him for
Lugauer
you guys.
has been elevated. He has been promoted.
All right, so here's the deal.
So
Tommy,
when he says something, Sean, what do you do?
say yes, sir.
I go ask Spike if that's all right.
Exactly. So Tommy's going to be the executive producer. He'll kind of also be replacing Big Mac. Sean will go over to where Tommy is and have an open microphone. And I'll be a third voice on your guys' show as you guys see fit. And Tommy then also has the opportunity when your guys' show ends at 6:30. The Bridge Show is now his show.
He has pulled it off, ladies and gentlemen. The Bridge Show used to be Big Mac's.
Yeah.
It was. Loogie slipped in, took part of it. And now he's taken the whole damn thing.
Yep.
Yes.
So congratulations on that, Luke.
Thank you for that. And Big Mac thought I was stealing it from him, but in reality, I was being groomed for the Bridge Show. That's what he didn't realize.
So basically,
Hey,
here's
Tommy,
what
what are you going to call it?
I'm going to call it the Tommy Lugauer, even though it's a half hour. The Tommy half hour, not as catchy.
I see
Real
what
original.
you did there.
Yeah.
I see what you did there.
You spent a lot of time thinking about that, huh?
Yeah, it took a whole 5 seconds.
The problem is
Half a loogie.
the perception has been set up that Big Mac's no longer on the show.
That's right.
And Big Mac's lost
I will get
his
there
Bridge
later.
Show.
I want to be
There's
clear.
that
It's been a rough
happy
5
ending.
minutes for me. Yeah.
There is good news coming Big Mac's way, but not yet. He's not leaving the fan. He'll just no longer be a part of Afternoon Drive. We'll get to his promotion in a little bit. But, Sean, I guess the big question for you, now that you're sitting here and Big Mac's right over there, he has accused you quite publicly on our show of these videos that seem to be quite organic as you're reacting to Rangers games, Giants games, etc., in your backyard, which I think is in Staten Island, if I'm not mistaken.
Long Island.
It's Long Island.
Yes.
I apologize.
How dare you.
Have been orchestrated, scripted, and planned. And now's your opportunity to say the truth about that.
Well, there's a reason I'm going to be sitting here as the third voice because I'm a real fan, Chris, and I know how to react.
Yeah. You sure do.
So eat it and kick dust.
Yeah, you
yes,
know how to get
everything
it out
natural.
there, too.
And actually, both bosses did ask me when they were promoting. I never want to know if those videos are real, so never tell us. So.
Perfect.
I can't wait for the video when they told you. I can't wait for that one to come out. Somehow it was on in my pocket. Miraculous.
Now, I have to get to this. Obviously, I know you know this. There was a day when I mispronounced your last name, which I'm sure as a kid had to have happened, where I said more ass
By
instead
the way,
of more
I think
ass.
he does it on purpose. I think
Okay.
you mispronounce your name.
You think my real last name's Morass?
No.
Go
I
fumble
thought-
again, bro.
Starting already.
I thought your last name was Moorish for so long.
Moorish? It's Morash. Morash. It couldn't be an easier name to say.
Well,
Okay, so how do you
Mo-
not get confused with ass then?
Right. It could be
I got
more
called.
ass.
I grew up a fat kid on Long Island. I was called Morass my whole life.
Okay.
But my mom has the scar. She fought with all the PTA moms
Yes.
about their kids bullying me with that. So of course you're saying it.
Yeah.
She's gonna come to the defense.
So I called him more ass for one show and only one show.
Yeah.
And his mom threatened to come here and hurt me.
Wow.
She also called
She
you
has
names.
MS, by the way, so let's.
Great. Well, there goes that. Well, tell her I wish her well.
yes, still will.
She's not on Ozempic, is she?
No,
Okay, just checking.
no.
Okay. So anyhow,
I don't even know if I'm supposed to laugh at it.
she threatened to kill me as her dying wish.
Yes.
But instead we gave her son a promotion. Well, congratulations.
Thanks,
Look,
Craig.
Listen, everyone has a story and a path they have to follow to one day have an opportunity to get a job on air at Fan or even as a producer on the Fan. I tell these young kids all the time, it's okay to go to other cities and perfect your craft.
No doubt.
And maybe one day come back and maybe just have great success in another market. But I know you've put in a lot of time.
Yeah, you were the first one to tell me as an intern to make a tape.
That's it. Oh, I didn't even know you interned here.
Yes, 2010.
The only thing I have a slight issue.
remember that.
Yeah, it's all right.
I have a slight issue with you, Sean. Tiki said something so beautiful about Brandon, who was his partner for a decade.
Sure.
From the heart.
Yeah.
You haven't said a damn word about who you used to work with.
Damon
Any
Amendola.
emotional thoughts or no?
No, it's going to be very tough. Tomorrow morning is a big DA show announcement over on CBS Sports Radio.
DA?
No. That place means a lot to me. And I would not be here today without DA specifically.
Hold on, if I may.
Yeah.
What you're saying is that the advice I gave you as an intern is really what set you on your path to getting here, right?
Well, you actually told me not to be lazy as an intern. I got
There you
hired
go.
as a result. You were actually really, really good to the interns. I'm
And
not trying to
then-
kiss your ass on the way out the door. Honestly, get out earlier so we can start earlier. But
And then he shows up wearing like a suit.
well, that was
I
the other
respect
thing too. They told me to show up, look nice, wear a suit. I'm drenched on the Long Island Road, 95 degrees. I look like Carlin doing beer money. It's a bad scene. I feel like Ben McAdoo at his presser.
No, you're doing fine, and you're going to be fine, and just be yourself, and everything will work
Yeah,
out.
for sure.
And you were two good guys who will bring you along, and it's a great step in your career. And again, I was an intern here back in the first year Fan existed, celebrating their 1-year anniversary as an intern. Didn't know any better. Gio was an intern.
Can you let him finish
Yeah.
his heartfult tribute
No,
to
no.
DA? It never
Yeah.
finished.
Oh,
No,
yeah,
that
what?
is my.
Oh, that was
it
it?
means a lot. No, tomorrow
Thanks,
morning,
DAC.
I want to save a lot of that for tomorrow morning
Okay,
for
fair
that
enough.
listener base.
Yeah, but nobody will hear it. So why don't you just
There's a
give it
lot
to
more
us here?
listeners than you think over there.
How many
I'm not gonna
people
stand
came to
for
your
it.
house?
Yeah, we had 50 or so listeners flying from all over the country on Friday as we did a show from my dad's bar.
One was international,
nice.
right?
Yeah,
Nice.
yeah. Vancouver, a guy flew in from.
That's
So,
awesome.
Yeah, so we have a great listener base over there.
Well,
so.
congratulations. You're now the producer / third voice on
Yeah.
the afternoon
And
show.
Neil, I am not running the board.
Not that there's anything wrong
Why
with
did that
it.
bother you so
It bothered
much?
me. I don't know. Never mind.
I'm standing right over here. There.
Yeah,
tough
let
guy.
Tommy be demean, not me.
Jeez.
All right, well, we're going to let you get out of here
All
since
right.
you're uncomfortable and sweaty.
Congrats,
Thank
Sean.
you.
Congrats,
And
Tiki. Looking
congratulations.
forward to it.
Thanks,
And
guys.
Tiki, you know I love you and all the best.
No
And the
doubt.
show's going to be great. And I'm going over to Tiki's house next week just to walk him through what it is to work with you. Good luck. That's a 3-hour barbecue, so that is.
I don't cook. You cook?
Well, yeah, I'll bring
this
it.
guy?
I'll bring it
All right,
all.
good.
It's all good. All right, so am I taking a break? I will take a quick break. We'll tell you where Big Mac is going and the other big news here at the Fan regarding the schedule. But again, July 24th, it'll be Sean Morash along with Evan and Tiki and Tommy Lugauer, the executive producer and now the host of his own little half-hour show, which will probably be about 8 minutes after all the commercials get played.
Don't tell him that.
Tommy's 8-minute program from 6:52 to 7 o'clock here on the Fan. What happens to middays? That's next here on WFAN.